From the world market to Dortmund Dorstfeld, place of birth of all large O&K excavators. O&K Mining, from Dortmund Dorstfeld to the mines of the world. The crawler base in the undercarriage is the excavator's means of locomotion and must stand up to all the strains of tough conditions in mines. In view of the long delivery dates for the casting, the first step is to produce the patterns for the foundry. Here we see the pattern for a track roller bearing being checked and released for the foundry. To ensure high quality in assembling the various steel parts of the crawler base, the bearing used to take up the travel gear is being rough machined here. A sophisticated welding technique with thermostat-controlled preheating and specified welding sequences is the prerequisite for very low distortions and residual stress. This ensures long life for the dynamically highly stressed structural parts used by O&K. After final welding and final quality control, the crawler base is transported to the final machining stage. Cast pads are fitted together to make the crawler chains. The casting process begins with making the mold. In order to cope with rough working conditions, a high-alloyed special steel is used. The RH400's travel gear was developed by O&K Drive Technology. With its unit weight of 12 tons and a maximum torque of 2 million Newton meters, this is the largest planetary gear in the world today. It allows a maximum speed of 2.2 kilometers per hour. The entire project was managed in time using sophisticated computer network planning techniques. At regular project meetings, deadlines for the main components were reviewed and coordinated. This also included monitoring the production sequences at subcontractors' plants, for example, at the drop forge. The track and carrier rollers of the crawler track are subject to high wear stresses. This being so, the rollers developed by O&K for large excavators are drop forged, quenched and tempered, and then hardened. The two roller halves are machined to size, and finally power welded, utilizing special techniques. The crucial factor for the crawler base's accuracy in fitting is the final machining. An NC-controlled boring mill ensures the required accuracy in the machined connecting surfaces and drilled holes. That accuracy is shown, for example, in the assembly of the finished links to form a band. The chain bands are then painted and made ready for final assembly. The track rollers are fitted with bronze bushes and lifetime sealing, in line with established O&K principles. The assembly of the idler unit highlights the dimensions of the RH400. The finished crawler unit components are fitted together to form the track frame module. Even without chain and travel gear, this module weighs all of 55 tons. The center frame connects the two crawler bases and, with the slew bearing, carries the superstructure. A rolled steel ring with a diameter of 4.5 meters links the top and the bottom chords of the center body and, in this way, ensures the required stability to absorb the digging forces transmitted from the superstructure. After machining, all threads of the slew bearing support are checked with a mandrel gauge. The slew bearing was developed especially for the RH400 by O&K affiliate Hirsch Rothe-Erde. It connects undercarriage and superstructure, allowing a 360-degree swing. The internal gearing transfers the torque from the 6 swing gears and permits quick slewing movements by the superstructure. Maximum precision and extreme cleanliness in assembly work ensure long life. Transport securing devices and the preservation agents for the slew bearing are removed and fitting can commence on the centre frame. Subsequently, this module too is transported to the final assembly site. Measuring nearly 11 metres in length, the superstructure frame is the largest single component in the RH400. The steel parts of the superstructure frame are produced for an accurate fit using an NC oxygen cutting machine and a camera-controlled robot. The various parts are fitted together first in sub-assemblies. All major connections are ultrasonically inspected directly after welding. The finished sub-assemblies are joined to form the superstructure frame and, after final welding and priming, are transported to the boring mill. For mounting the 6 swing gears and the roller bearing alone, we need 264 highly accurate tapped holes. The finished machined superstructure frame is now ready for final assembly. The engine module comprises the main components of the hydraulics and the electrics, in addition to the 2 diesel engines. Even at an early stage in the assembly work, we can recognize the arrangement of the 2 drive lines. The engine module frame is fitted on top of the 2 fuel tanks, each of which has a capacity of 8,000 litres, and then bolted down. The centrally located hydraulic tank allows short intake lines to the hydraulic pumps. The generous dimensions of the engine module provide excellent access for the maintenance staff. What's more, the cladding protects all components from the elements. The links between the diesel engines and the hydraulic pumps are the pump distributor gears. Assembly of the spur gear with an efficiency of 97% calls for maximum precision. Exact machining of the cast housing guarantees highly accurate functioning of the gear wheels and the tightness of the gear. The efficiency of the oil lubrication is checked in extensive tests. The main pumps are mounted on the transfer gear. In the RH400-2, the time-tested RH200 pumps are used. While 4 main pumps per driveline supply the attachment cylinders and drive units, 3 further pumps are employed exclusively for slewing the superstructure. Assembly of the driveline starts with placing a pre-assembled pump distributor gear onto vibration-reducing rubber elements. The 2 Cummins K2000E diesel engines are fitted with 4 turbochargers each and have a total output of 3,400 horsepower. Installing the diesel engines is a tense moment even for skilled O&K fitters. Due to the extended oil change intervals, the annual operating time of the RH400 will be increased. The RH400's cabin has been designed from an ergonomic point of view and is distinguished by outstanding visibility. Electronic and hydraulic circuits are mounted below the cab, where they are protected from the elements and are readily accessible. Along with the thermopane glazing, the air conditioning system ensures optimal working conditions. The oil cooler module too is of great importance for the RH400's performance and long life. Thanks to the generous dimensions of the coolers, with thermostatically controlled fan motors, a constant low oil temperature is guaranteed even with high loads and extreme ambient temperatures. This can only benefit the life of the hydraulic components and sealing systems. The RH400's counterweight boasts 80 tons. Besides performing a function as ballast carrier, it accommodates the water radiators of the diesel engine and fans. This design ensures optimal accessibility of all components. Comprehensive finite element calculations and practical tests were steps in the construction of the boom. The sophisticated shapes of the castings at the bearing points for the superstructure, the arm and the tri-power linkage provide for smooth transitions to the adjacent metal and hence an undisturbed flow of forces. In this component too, adherence to the required quality is ensured by welding sequence plans and by ultrasonic testing. The machining of the boom and of the other equipment components is done on a double-column boring mill with maximum precision to ensure synchronous machining of the bearing seats. The hydraulic console holds the valves for controlling the cylinder movements. Accurate pipe bending is controlled by an NC bending machine. The pre-assembled console is bolted onto the boom. O&K has many years of experience in developing and producing hydraulic cylinders. High-quality materials for cylinder barrels and piston rods, along with special sealing systems, translate into long life for O&K cylinders. The cylinder being mounted here has a weight of 8 tons and, with a hydraulic pressure of 300 bar, develops a force of 477 tons. A total of 8 cylinders brings the RH400's attachment and bucket into motion. The special outer contour of the O&K sticks provides for an optimal flow of forces and helps avoid excessive strains. The construction of the stick is in line with highly developed O&K engineering principles and includes solid castings for the bearing points. The precise cut of the steel sections is revealed in the accurate assembly. The stick's outer contour allows an increased curl angle for the bucket and counteracts any jamming by rocks. Once the bearing points are machined and the bearing bushes and pipes assembled, the stick is ready for final assembly. The bucket, which is composed of front part and back wall, is exposed to very great strains owing to the direct contact with the material being loaded. The cast one-piece cutting lip with ESCO tooth system is accurately fitted into the steel structure of the shovel's front part. The welding distortion of the front part is minimized by an optimized welding sequence and specially made devices. Dimensionally accurate production is a prerequisite for the subsequent machining of the bearing seats. The bucket weight is crucial for the efficiency of the excavator. This being so, low weight with maximum structural strength was the aim in the overall design. The back wall consists of more than 100 elements. Clamping on the turntable allows machining without re-chucking the member, and in this way ensures correct alignment of the bearing seats. The high quality of the machining work is proven when the bucket parts are assembled. Full floating pins with a diameter of 260 millimeters mounted in a hand-in-glove fit. Specially selected material is used for the pins between the various equipment members. The pin for the tri-power bearing has a weight of 8 tons. In final assembly that now follows, the various modules are fitted together to complete the overall unit. The greatest possible pre-assembly work on the modules reduces final assembly time to a minimum. Where thorough preparations have been made, the RH400 can be erected at its place of deployment in a matter of 10 days. The O&K assembly team at work here will also perform the assembly on site and hence ensure smooth workflows. The engine module, weighing 60 tons, is positioned accurately down to the millimeter. The cylinders and the tri-power linkage are already mounted before the boom is fitted. Positioning of this 120-ton assembly using 2 cranes requires precision work. Once the oil cooler module has been mounted, you can recognize the silhouette of the entire unit. After the cab module has been fitted, numerous power and hydraulic lines have to be connected. With a seat located at a height of 8.2 meters, the cabin offers excellent visibility. The 2-piece counterweight, with a mass of 80 tons, gives the unit the requisite stability. Before the stick is mounted, the pin is carefully cleaned once again and greased. The 2 halves of the counterweight are joined safely with 40 bolts. Finally, the 42 cubic meter bucket is mounted. The RH400 is equipped with highly developed electronic controls and monitoring systems. Before commissioning, comprehensive tests are carried out by specialists. RH400 is ready to go. The customer, Syncrude, performs the final inspection to ensure that the proposals of innumerable common team meetings have been implemented. The engines start. The first movements performed by the attachment are still a bit rocky. The tension of the moment is clearly written on the operator's face. But very soon, the first loading cycles are performed smoothly. The first RH400 was ready after an 18-month planning and development period. The next stage was to wind up the necessary tests, acceptances and stress measurements. The RH400, the proud result of 35 years of experience in building hydraulic excavators. The encounter between this, the world's largest hydraulic excavator, and the first fully hydraulic excavator, an RH5 1962 vintage, impressively demonstrates O&K's innovative strength. Soon after the last tests at the Dortmund factory, dismantling starts. The excavator is disassembled into its various modules and numerous individual parts. Each cable, hose and pipe, every nut and bolt must be carefully disconnected and stored away. Nothing is left to chance. The largest single component is the 86-ton superstructure, which can only be transported in one piece. Subsequently, spray painting takes place and the components are ready for transport. A highly specialized forwarding company was entrusted with the logistics of the long Atlantic crossing and then a journey virtually across the whole of Canada. From Dortmund-Dorstfeld out into the world. A distance of almost 12,000 kilometers has to be covered, utilizing various means of transport, road, ship, railway and road again, to the mine at the Mildred Lake site close to Fort McMurray in Alberta. Syncrude Canada Limited, the world's largest oil sand producer, employs highly sophisticated mining and concentrating methods to produce more than 70 million barrels of high-quality sweet blend oil per annum. This represents 20% of the conventional oil processed in Canada. 2 O&K RH200 excavators are already working in their operations. The new RH400 is a vital part of a huge expansion scheme at the North Mine, loading abrasive sticky oil sands onto 240 and 320 short-ton trucks in 3 or 4 cycles respectively. Powered by diesel, crawling on extra-wide pads, the giant proves to be extremely flexible. Now, during the winter, temperatures can drop as low as minus 40 degrees Celsius. Even the softest material gets rock hard, but mining still continues. Here, theory is put to the test. Reliability, ease of maintenance, and low-cost, high-volume mining are the key features. Its enormous digging forces of up to 2,600 kilonewton, the O&K patented tri-power attachment, and the pump managing system ensure full buckets every time in less than 30 seconds per cycle. Sitting 8.2 meters above ground, the operator is fully in control and enjoys an optimal overview. The customized cabin is equipped not only with all the necessary controls, but also has a rest area for the operator, incorporating a refrigerator, a coffee machine, and even a microwave oven. Day in, day out, night in, night out, 365 days per year, the RH400 faces up to the challenge of mining under the most severe conditions. Much is expected, and O&K Mining's team is constantly ready to support product and customer at any time. In December 1997, the unit set a new world record for hydraulic excavators in mining productivity. 4,200 bank cubic meters, or more than 9,200 tons per hour, something that's never been achieved before. The second RH400 for Syncrude is on its way, to commence mining in the middle of May 1998 at the same site. The O&K RH400, the new dimension in mining, getting the mining industry ready for the next millennium.